Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak. Another Chamber of Commerce day here in South Florida. Beautiful conditions here. Temperature in the low to mid 80s this afternoon. We got a fast main track, a firm turf course. We got a nice carryover in the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 5 with a 10-race card. $34,000 plus. They nailed it yesterday. It was pretty, it was a lot of favorites in there yesterday, Katie, and still managed to pay $600 for a 20-cent wager, and I just thought that was a great return of investment.
Absolutely. We were looking at our tickets, and we both had 5 of 6 in the Rainbow Six. There were a lot of favorites and horses that logically made sense come in. There was one little bit of a surprise,
right,
but paid very, very well, and that's the beauty of the Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I mean, $600 for 20. If you put a ticket together, you had a good chance of hitting it today. Well, we're going to have that. You're going to have that chance again today. As I mentioned in race number 5, we have a 10-race card on tap for you this afternoon. And let's get right to the first race. It's on the turf. Turf course is listed as firm. It's 1 mile and 1/16. These are claimers. They're 3-year-olds and up. $10,000 the claiming level. We have one jockey change, and here it comes on the number 3, Franklin Park. Make the rider Josie Gomez. I went with the number 6 at Pickett's Corner, so I'll kick it off. You had we have our exact, the flip-flopped here. A consistent son of Delaware Township. 4 for 5 in the money on the turf here. Going to try these $10,000 open claimers after holding on gamely. Defeated $16,000 3 lifetime types. The concern with this horse that I had, tends to bounce a little bit after a victory. He's got a victory, then not a victory. Victory, then, a couple of horses. So I had a little bit of concern in there. And then I thought maybe the 2 Overtown Square was the way to go. So maybe you're in the right direction. We'll see how it works out.
Well, Pickett's Corner makes so much sense. He's a logical choice. He's won 2 of his last 4. Really does run well here at the distance, but I had to go with the 2 Overton Square, really for one main factor. First off, the claim for trainer Peter Walder. It's an area that he's traditionally excelled at, but especially so during this meet. He's really been on a hot streak with those horses. First off, the claim for him. This one finished 5th in a $16,000 claimer at the distance on March 29th, but 2 starts back, he won at the level and distance. Edgar Prado is going to be aboard. When he and Walder team up, they are winning at a 43% clip together right now, and I just think this horse is in a perfect position to get back to that winning form and move forward at the new barn.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern that somebody might have, claim for 16, running for 10, maybe that's a signal there, but the barn does so well, and they're just looking to, I believe, to get a win. I got him on my ticket for all the reasons. In 3rd, I used a horse called Muda Sadir. That is number 5, back to his most accomplished, one of his most accomplished turf courses. 14 races here with 3 wins at 3 seconds and 2/3 after winning 1 of 10 races. His winter campaign up at Tampa Bay. Trainer Carlos Cepeda, I think, spots this hard-working gelding where he should be effective. He likes this local surroundings. I just thought this a horse maybe you could put somewhere on your ticket. I don't know what he is on the morning line. 5-1.
I put the 7 Seti Mezzo on the ticket, another horse with a bit of a fun name there. This one's taken a substantial class drop. Contested the Grade 3 Miami Mile with Rerun, Grand Tito, and Shatak in his last start on April 25th. That's a pretty nice group of horses, and he's not going to have to contend with the likes of them today. Prior to that ambitious start, he hit the board in 5 straight races against Similar in Tampa. I think he's primed to move forward with that class drop.
10-1 on the morning line. Let's go to race number 2, and let's go to our fast main track with this one. 1 mile claimers, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. $12,500 the claiming level. This which kicks off one of our 2 pick 4s on the afternoon. Races 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're almost in perfect agreement. Here we both have the number 3, Elusive Harmony, on top of our ticket.
Yeah, this one makes complete sense. Well beaten 8th last time out, but that was in a starter allowance at Tampa on April 4th, and it was her first start since early January, so probably needed the race. Was at 6.5 furlongs. Going to stretch out today. I think that's definitely going to help. It's a distance at which she's 5 for 6 lifetime. That is a great statistic. drops in for a tag for the first time since last July, and that was when trainer Kirk Zadie claimed her. Speaking of Zadie, that is an angle you're going to want to follow today. He has won with 10 of his last 12 starters. That is incredible, and the only 2 losses came on the grass.
Yeah, I'm ridden today by Harry Hernandez, and just so you know, he's now a 5-pound apprentice, no longer 7 pounds. So when you see him today, add 2 pounds to each of the horses he's riding. So he's been riding in pretty nice form. Lots of things to like about number 3, Elusive Harmony. Horse I'm hoping to bounce back is the number 6, Hot Coffee, and this one certainly looks like a candidate to me to get back to its ways. Was working on a really impressive 2-race win streak at the distance, and that ended when he tracked the pace and finished 4th. That was against $10,000 optional claimers last time out. Really hard to win 3 races in a row. I think this is a spot where this horse can bounce back and maybe can't beat a horse like Elusive Harmony, but could certainly be on the ticket.
Absolutely. The horse that won that last start in a bit of tougher company was BL's Wagon, who's won her last 3 starts by a combined 28 lengths. A very nice mare, hard to run with, but prior to that, you mentioned that win streak, Hot Coffee, she won her last 2 starts by a combined 13 3/4 lengths.
Well, number 1, Mimi's Dream, you have in second, I have in third, is now in the Sal Santoro barn.
Yeah, you know, she romped by 10.5 lengths last time out at the $6,250 level. Hit the board in 7 straight starts. You have to put this one on the ticket somewhere. My only concern is after that kind of effort, is there a bounce?
Yeah, but I think she's going to be running and gunning as soon as they pop the gate latch today and see if she can hold on. And pretty nice performance. And, you know, maybe it was the 3rd, so I think this horse can run well and maybe steal another one and everything. But Elusive Harmony, just for all the reasons Katie mentioned, with the barn, with the loving the 1 mile distance, awful tough not to have that one maybe somewhere on your ticket or maybe singled in your early pick 4 ticket. Race number 3, go back into the brass. This one is 5 furlongs on the turf. These are maiden claimers. They're 3-year-olds and up. We're going to have 8 runners going to the post in here. We want to go back and show you a performance from the horse I have in third, and Katie has in third too, and that's Boarding Quinilla. And this one had a little bit of trouble at the break.
More than a little bit of trouble last time out. We're going to show you, this is on April 30th at the $25,000 level. You're going to see near the 2 completely miss the break, rears at the start, and has to spot the field several lengths. I think this is a horse, just for that reason, is shown a little bit, and I think you have to put it on the ticket and really consider that when you're weighing your options here in this race. Yeah,
no, I did. Like I said, we both have it on the 2. We're actually in agreement here. I went with the 4 out the door. This one now in the Ed Coletti Senior Barn. The gelding drops to the $16,000 level after that promising $25,000 debut in which he rallied to finish 2nd. He was only beaten 1 1/4 lengths, so the drop down should help this horse this afternoon.
Absolutely. I think he has to move forward coming off that effort.
And what about number 7, Graham, a recent gelding now in the Joe Hennessy Bar, dropping down today?
He was gelded after finishing 4th in his turf debut back on January 25th. The winner of that race, that's kind of the angle that I took with this horse, Little Baltar, came back to finish 2nd in a $75,000 optional claimer. And that was behind only the stakes caliber City of Vengeance. So seeing that kind of horse in the past performances only makes Graham look better.
And, you know, we showed you the start that the number 3 horse, Boarding Quinilla, had in that race. It's sort of like up there like Hi-Ho Silver. And should move forward today. Harry Hernandez will be in the saddle this afternoon. And as we also mentioned, now a 5-pound bug, no longer getting the 7 pounds. For you weight aficionados, make sure you mark that down. 4th race this afternoon, 6 furlongs claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 races in life, $6,250, a compact field of 6 runners going to the post, and this one was wide open, and every time I say that, I look up, we have the same horse on top, and that is, he did it his way, and why are you doing it this way?
Well, he finished 3rd, beaten just a length and a half behind a gelding named Podachon in his last start on April 23rd, and that name jumped out at me because Podachon has won his last 2. That was at this level and distance, so he's proven that he can run well at 6 furlongs, and he's finished 3rd in each of his last 2 starts. He's going to need to pick it up to get a win here for sure. He is going to need to take a step forward, but I thought logically things just made sense with him.
Number 3, Tease 2 Step, has shown steady progress and improving speed figures in each region start at this level and distance, and this might be the spot where he can notch that very elusive 2nd career victory. He's had 21 previous races 1 win, 4 seconds and 1/3, so he belongs on the ticket. I'm just not sure he can win it in here.
Well, he's a familiar rival with Heated It His Way. He actually finished just a half length behind him in his last start and had a 2.5 length advantage over Heated It His Way at the wire in the start prior. So these two, I could easily see them reversing positions.
Number 2, One Proud Dude, is the horse I put in third. This one stepping up to the next logical level after, drawing off at 6.5 furlongs to defeat $12,500 maidens. Won that race by 2+ lengths. Juan Arias, Eddie Castro atop. Looks like he's a rejuvenated son of Forestry. So we'll see how that works out. Reese Maidwin, I know you went with the one Creative Quality on the inside, who is actually the morning line favorite, and I didn't use, and you used in third.
Well, I couldn't put him on top, but I definitely thought that he warranted a place on the ticket somewhere. Broke his maiden by a very impressive 7 3/4 lengths back on April 5th. Did not run well facing winners for the first time, but that was against tougher. I think this is a much better start, much better spot for him to face more seasoned runners.
And it'll be ridden today by Marlena Nogari, taking care of the inside post this afternoon. And this is where the Rainbow Six starts in race number 5, as we mentioned at the top of the show, $34,000 plus in the pool. And we're going to start it off in here with a race on the fast main track, 6 furlongs, allowance optional claimers, fillies, 3-year-olds, claiming level $75,000. And we want to go back and show you a race from the horse we both have on top of our ticket, number 4, Distinta. And this was back on April 18th. She makes a pretty nice 3-wide bid.
She does, and she finishes behind a very nice filly in Huasca from the Efren Loza Jr. barn, who was my top selection in that race. And Distinta really moved forward in this spot. Off a bit of a class drop, she'd been running in Grade 2 stakes in the Devona Dale and the Forward Gal. And look how much better she is than the field behind her. Huasca, very nice filly. Distinta, very nice as well. She is easily the best outside of that top runner that day. And, cutting back to 6 furlongs, I think that was a good move for her. Going to stay at that distance today. And Tyler Gaffleone, our leading rider right now, he's going to be staying aboard as well.
I think the one Silver Fox has a chance to just demolish this field. It's the morning line favorite. Wasn't quite sure that I wanted to put it on top of the ticket, so I went to Distinta, but Silver Fog is stepping up to face winners after drawing away to defeat a next out winner called McLovin. Won that race by 9 lengths. It was a $60,000 maiden test at the distance. It's a Son of Value Plus. It will be tested for class today, but I don't know how much class this horse is really stepping up. I see it almost a lateral move, and if it can translate, here what they did last time, it could be all over very early with number 1 Silver Fog.
I definitely looked at Silver Fog, left you just off the ticket, and that's because I was really intrigued by the 6 Desert Image. Now, there are question marks, but she's going to race for Lasix for the first time for trainer George Weaver, and I really think that can help her move forward, but she hasn't run since finishing off the board in the Grade 2 Matron last October at Belmont. But mind you, that was a Grade 2. She broke her maiden at first asking there at Belmont in September, and clearly the connections thought highly of her to put her in a Grade 2 in just her second start. She's been working well for the return, and I'm really intrigued to see how she comes back from that layoff today, but she's already proven fresh since she's won at first asking.
Yeah, I just didn't, the thing that turned me off is that she's in for the $75,000 tag, so, if it's something special like that, this is my thought process. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I just thought in for the $75,000 tag, they wouldn't put it up for sale, this is a handicapping angle that you're guessing that. I thought maybe, so I left it off the ticket, but for all the reasons you mentioned, if it won by 10 lengths, I would not be surprised. But, in for the tag, I didn't know what to do. But I know we both have the number 2 horse, Odachi, from the Ralph Nix barn with Edgar Prado in the saddle.
Well, we showed you her last race. She finished 3rd behind Huasca and Distinta, pretty far back, but the best of the rest for sure. It was her first start for Nix and her first start since last December. So really now that the connections know her better, making her second start off the layoff, she could definitely move forward in a big way.
Well, that's the Rainbow Six, so now you have to decide when you're kicking your ticket. Do you use the number 6? Do you use the number 1? Who I didn't use one, Kay didn't use the other, so we'll see how that works out. Maybe you go a little deep. Only a 6-horse field here, and it's a 20-cent wager. You know what comes to mind? Let me look at my crystal ball. All the all button maybe is what you do in the 5th race there, because maybe you can single a horse a little further on down the road. We're going to go to the 6th race this afternoon, 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $12,500. 2 scratches in here. Number 4, Deputy Vic. The main track only. Number 10, Whiskey Ding. We both went with the number 1, Toho Pekaliga, and I can say that because Katie told me how to say it. So how do you do what do you think of the number 1?
Well, there's lots to like about him, and really we're in complete agreement with this race, but all 3 of the top selections are coming off their maiden victory.
I know,
going
it's
to
funny,
be
isn't
facing
it?
winners for the first time, and I looked back and I said, this is something I rarely do, and here I am making up the entire ticket with these horses. But I think they've shown enough in breaking their maidens where they can run well, especially in this spot. Toho Pekaliga broke his maiden by almost 4 lengths on April 22nd, and that was coming off a 2-month freshening. Trainer Kirk Zadie, again, light bulb should be going off today. Just believe he's very well spotted, dropping a tad from the $16,000 level when facing winners. And there's not a whole lot of speed in here. I think this one could be controlling things and saying, come and catch me late.
Yeah, and you know, we give these Kirk Zadie stats all the time. They're almost redundant, but he's like 30% or 29% with horses winning consecutive races. And the key was, you were right, the absolute key was here. This is non-winners of 2 races in life. So nobody's won twice in this race. So these horses, recent maiden winners, definitely figuring here. Number 3, You Are So Perfect. Another, as we mentioned, going to try winners today after the drawing away to defeat $12,500 maidens in a mile in the 16th. Mike Petro does an excellent job. Tyler Gaffleone is the leading rider here. Lots of things to like about the number 3, too.
Yeah, and owns the highest last out buyer of the field, so definitely figures. But you have to look at Plant City Robert, too, because You Are So Perfect broke his maiden right after he finished behind Plant City Robert. He topped a field that included You Are So Perfect on April 8th, and that was his first time he had ever hit the board, let alone win. That was my caution in putting him higher on the ticket again today. Was that a fluke? He's going to need to prove that he has a little bit more consistency in my eyes, but threw him on the ticket.
Another one where I think you got to go a little deeper than you might normally want to if you're putting a Rainbow 6 together, and that starts our pick 5 of the afternoon, and that is a 50-cent wager. We're going to go to race number 7. Race number 7 now. I've got my pages here stuck together. And race number 7, 5 furlongs on the turf. These are claimants, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, 9 winners of 3 races in life, or a race since November 9th at 6 months. 1 jockey change on the 1, Shannon Yuski, 121 pounds. I want to go back and show you a performance from number 8, Creative License, who had a little bit of trouble, a lot of trouble in this last race. We're going to go back and show you this horse from the Kirk Zadie barn. And there you see Creative License, number 7 in there, just stuck behind a wall of horses here, looking for racing room throughout, and just can't seem to get a spot. You know, and comes around in the turn and finally sees an opening and gets steadied, as you'll see right now, gets steadied in here. Just really no place to run for this horse. He'll see him just getting in a little bit of trouble here. And finally, the whole sort of, oh, no, it doesn't. It closes again. And now he gets through and runs second. You know, you're not going to believe that he runs second, but he does get up there and run second. And I just thought of that performance. Do we have to mention Kirk Zadie again? We have to, because he is the trainer. I thought this horse had tons of trouble. Really like him this afternoon. Jesus Rios will be in the saddle. Trouble Trip Supreme, and I put him on top of my ticket.
Is that your best bet of the day?
That's my best bet and my single in the Rainbow 6. So I'm hoping that horse runs a true court, gets a little racing luck and scores.
I don't blame you. Already beaten several of the other horses in this field. That includes Silvakova, that we both have in second. Was just 3/4 of a length behind Creative License in that April 17th start when coming off a 4-month layoff for trainer Christine Jenks, but did not have the kind of trouble that Creative License did. Had a much smoother trip, but should move forward second start off that freshening.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the number 9 Star Trip Durney is making the 3rd start of her current form cycle. Showed some late interest. She finished 6th behind those 2 horses we just mentioned in there. So all coming out of the race, but the one that had the biggest excuse was the number 8 Creative License, and that's why I just thought with a clean trip today, certainly the one to beat in there. And let's see if that single works out. So I could go deep now in those 5th and 6th races because I found, at least I did, one to single. Let's go to race number 8, 6 furlongs, allowance optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, $16,000 the claiming level, and we want to go back and show you a performance of number 2 Chepstow, and we will continue with the Kirk Zadie show right now.
Yeah, Kirk Zadie has 4 horses in today, and they all are very live, not just because they're from his barn, but because they've been running nice races and have good form. We're going to take a look at the 6 Chepstow. Going to make a 4-wide bid there, you see at the top of the stretch. Repeatedly bumps at the 3/16 pole with the winner, eventual winner in Passkey. And then is going to finish just behind the top 2 there, the 1 and the 3, in Passkey, who was on a 3-race win streak at the time, mind you, in Alico Castle, a top horse at that level, very veteran, consistent runner, and Chepstow was just behind him. Now, at the time of that race, he was not trained by Kirk Zadie. He's going to be making his first start for the barn today. He posts great numbers, as we mentioned, in that category. They always seem to move forward. First start for the barn, and really he hit the board in 5 straight starts before finishing, rallying 4th in a $25,000 optional claimer on April 4th. I just think he has the experience on his side, the fitness on his side, and running for a hot barn.
I went with the 5 Requiting here. We talked about George Weaver a little early. This is the one I like from him. He's making his 3-year-old debut with Lasix added, promising 2-race freshman campaign at Saratoga, in which he won his maiden special weight debut. Won it impressively, 3.5 lengths. Remember that race watching it. Then he comes back. You know, he finishes a distant 4th, but is behind Competitive Edge, who wins the Grade 1. That was in the Grade 1. Hopeful it was back on September 1st. George Weaver, what I like about the son of Warrior's Reward, he's really training sharply up at Palm Beach Downs. He's here. He looks like it's the perfect setup for him to move forward and go back to graded stakes competition. So I just thought Requite, number 5, was the one to beat in there. And the horse that I had some interest that you have on your 3rd in your ticket is the number 5, Amace, we think it's pronounced, Amace, and this one's going to face winners today.
He is. He's another 3-year-old returning from a long layoff. His son, Tail the Cat, going to make his sophomore debut for trainer Gustavo Delgado, who actually acquired this gelding after he broke his maiden at Keeneland last October. Lots of unknowns, again, coming off all that time off, but he's a horse that definitely has some class, but have to like Requite as well from the George Weaver barn, especially another one. First start with Lasix.
Yep. 9th race, 7.5 furlongs, turf allowance, optional claimants, 3 years old and upward. Scratch the 5, Decabris, scratch the 6, Social Request, and also scratch the 3 main track onlys, number 9, 10, and 11. And we both went with the number 1, Adios Nardo, and this one is dropping, I believe, into a competitive spot. Shipped in from the fairgrounds to finish 6th behind Rerun. That was the Grade 3 Miami Mile. The trainer is Leo Gabriel Jr., Eddie Castro. Just think, this is a logical spot. A little tough last time out for this horse. I think this is much more to its liking.
Absolutely. The Miami Mile could end up becoming a key race today. A couple horses coming out of that race that are running today here at Gulfstream. Adios Nardo. Think he's going to be saying adios to the field late in the stretch today. He's graded stakes place. Only came a neck from a Grade 3 victory at one point at Fairgrounds. Eddie Castro's going to be in the irons. And prior to that race in the Miami Mile, he was running really competitively at this level.
Well, number 8, Best Plan Yet. I mean, I struggled with this race. I have to be perfectly honest. I threw the 8, Best Plan Yet. He's getting some needed class relief. He's faced stakes competition in 12 consecutive races going back to January 2014. Stanley Gold, already this hard-knocking son of Hear No Evil. This horse is always in there. Doesn't win. He hasn't won a lot, but he's in the allowance ranks. He got him ready for this with a blistering 3-furlong bullet in a 34-second flat. You have him on your ticket, too, but you also used the number 2 on your ticket, and that is Bretling Flyer.
Quickly, Best Plan Yet. 18 of 19 starts in stakes career. This is going to be the first time he's not running in a stakes race since he broke his maiden.
Wow.
That's something to keep an eye on. That is a crazy statistic. But I also like the 2 Bretling Flyer. Going to make the dirt to turf move for trainer Enrique Sanchez. His last 6 turf starts have all come in stakes. So again, class relief is going to play a big role in this race today. Luca Panici is going to stay aboard.
Well, you know, there's a horse in your second in the morning line. I think you got to use it. Golden Jason must be respected. He is the speed of the speed in this race. You know that he led every step of the way when he faced this level of competition. That was going a mile on the turf here, albeit it was last July, but I don't see any other speed in this race. And number 7, Golden Jason, couldn't be on the ticket there and get it done. The last race of the afternoon. Now, if you found a couple in the singles and with everything we said today, this is the race that you want to go deep in right here. 6 furlongs, maiden claim is 3 and up, 12-5. Scratch the horse that I know, Katie, I don't have to ask her. I'm sure she had on top of the ticket. That is the 4 BF Forever. Also scratched the number 5, who was second on the morning line, Starship Rocky. I scratched into the number 2, Sergeant Thompson. You went with the 7, Swagger.
I did. I scratched into Swagger, had BF Forever on the top of the ticket. an obvious top choice, but now it becomes a bit more complicated. Swagger dropping to this level after finishing off the board against $35,000 maiden claimers on April 17th, but that was his first start since last May. The blinkers come off after he made a bit of a premature bid that day, was probably a little bit keen coming off all of that time off in a better spot. Jose Caraballo is going to be aboard. That's why I settled on him.
Well, I used the 2 Sergeant Thompson stretching out an additional furlong today after making a middle move, flattening out late to finish 4th. It was against similar going 5 furlongs. I thought maybe with the added distance he'd run there. Swagger for all the reasons. The horse I threw on the ticket that I thought was interesting, and I went back and looked, after the scratch in those race, Dragon Master, turning back to 6 furlongs today. He got carried out 8 wide in that race against similar, going 6.5 furlongs. He's getting second-time blinkers. I don't think he had any chance last time. He got carried out near the popcorn stand, so I just think that maybe with a clean trip, the number 11 Dragon Master can be on the ticket, but wide open affair.
Absolutely. I also threw in the 8 Lavandero. He's also going to look to improve in his second start off a bit of a layoff. Was off for 2 months for trainer Antonio Sano. I just think this was one, I was watching his previous races, seemed to have excuses in the last few starts. Got caught 6 wide last time out and returning from all that time off. The start prior, a mile, I think was too far for him. But if you go back, then he was an encouraging 3rd and 2nd in his last 2 starts at this distance, at 6 furlongs. So I think a return to that distance should work well for him.
Well, a wide open affair, and our final race of the afternoon, once again, the Rainbow Stakes starts in race number 5 with the $34,000 plus in the pool. Good luck with your selections throughout the afternoon. We got a fast main track, firm turf course, first race post 1 p.m. Good luck.
Good luck.